Excuse me. Thank you, Chairman. I want to start in the Pacific Islands. The Secretary's FY24 budget request language has planned new posts in Kiribati, Solomon Islands, Tonga, and Vanuatu. And it mentions funding for reporting and diplomatic security positions, but was silent on consular staffing and services. Is the department going to offer routine American citizen and visa services at each of these posts?
Thank you for that question, Senator. When new posts open, we are part of a much broader department effort to figure out what the correct footprint is, what the right staffing is. One thing I will highlight is that we do provide visa services now to folks that are resident in those places, and we are always very attentive to American citizen services wherever Americans are. I think we're, again, as part of, we're still sort of figuring out what the footprint is going to look like there, but I can assure you that we will do everything that we can do to make sure that we serve the people in those communities to the best of our ability.
Well, I didn't hear a yes, and I understand I understand resource constraints, but it does seem to me that we're appropriately raising expectations about the about our relationship with these nations, and trying to be more present and trying to be more responsive. And it seems to me, especially when you're establishing a physical presence, and then you have somebody coming in episodically to process some of these relatively routine applications, it may undermine the basic point of all of this. And that's where I'm coming from, is that, you know, in for a dime, in for a dollar, that's my philosophy. On the other hand, if you don't have the dollar, I get it, but I'd like us to understand this as a strategic thrust, right, of the Department of State. And if we kind of cut off our own legs by not providing the services that one would expect with a physical presence, then I think we are saving a little bit of money, but undermining our basic strategic thrust.
I understand. And one thing I will say, Senator, is as we're part of these planning processes, whether in for a dollar and for a dime, absolutely, or vice versa. But we do spend a great deal of time trying to really ensure that we are projecting physical presence to the extent that we possibly can. And we're very attentive to all of the things that you just said. So I appreciate your raising them.
Thank you. We'll track that with you. Hawaii is going to host the Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture in June of 2024. 3,500 participants, including senior officials from 28 countries throughout the Asia-Pacific region. FestPac is a real opportunity. I mean, it's a cultural event, but it's a real opportunity to strengthen ties between the United States and the people and the governments of the Pacific Islands. But the success of this event is going to depend on efficient visa processing. For a lot of Pacific Islanders, for whom Auckland and Sydney are the most convenient visa processing posts, long wait times, 149 days, are at least what we're being told is the wait time for B1, B2. Can I have your commitment to work with us to reduce those wait times, to make sure that to the degree and extent that we have an opportunity to kind of celebrate our shared values, to strengthen our friendships, and even to align better strategically. But I can tell you, as a senator from the state of Hawaii, you know, there's a saying in Hawaii, everything in Hawaii is political except politics, which is personal. And this is a real opportunity for us to build those person-to-person ties, but it doesn't work if the State Department is the rate-limiting factor. So can I just have your commitment to work this through?
Absolutely, and we have, sir, a business visa unit that handles events and cultural activities and conferences just like this to make sure that folks are able to participate in them. Those kinds of people-to-people ties are enormously important. We recognize our strong responsibility in that area.
Great. In the interest of time, I'm going to condense my question about the Philippines and visa processing. We're told it's still 149 days for B1, B2, just to get an interview. And you know, Hawaii employers in particular are asking my office to do something about that. I get that 149 days is fewer than it used to be relatively recently, but what are you doing to reduce that number of days to to land in a reasonable place.
Right.
Because 149 is better than 300, it's still awful.
I appreciate that. And if I could just take a minute to talk a little bit about our really hardworking teams in the field, where I really appreciate your raising this. So, we have been working with DHS and others to maximize our legal authorities to waive interviews for low-risk travelers, and also to take advantage of improving technology to just increase our global capacity. And in the non-immigrant visa side, the result is that now, fiscal year to date, we have issued 22% more visas than we did this time pre-pandemic. We're really extraordinarily productive. It's true that wait times for first-time tourist visas are longer than we would want at some posts, but in places like the Philippines and elsewhere, virtually every other category, visa wait times and processing times is at pre-pandemic levels or below. I also just want to highlight that we work very closely with our colleagues at Post to make sure that there are procedures in place for emergency travel. I mentioned our business visa unit. We're very, very committed to this, and we're really, really proud of the work that our folks in the field have done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Senator Rich?